Kari Lake, who was the Republican candidate for Arizona's governor in 2022 and a permanent resident of Trump's Orwellian world, has legally admitted to defaming a Republican election official. She was beaten by a Democrat in the 2022 governor's race and, like Trump, has been unwilling to accept the certified election results and is yet to concede. She is now running for the Republican nomination for the U.S. Senate. Lake went beyond refusing to accept the election results. She claimed with no evidence that I know of that an election official who was a Republican had sabotaged her election chances by misprinting ballots so that the tabulating machines would jam. The jamming was traced to changes in the ballot paper. See printer problems in Arizona election traced to changes in ballot paper, published at NBC News on 4/10/2023. Lake called that investigation that reached the conclusion a farce without providing any evidence to support that opinion, of course. And Trump world evidence is immaterial and irrelevant and so passe. The defamation complaint is leaked in the NBC article and is worth a read just to show how irresponsible and reckless Lake can be. Lake also accused the Republican election official for injecting 300,000 unlawful early ballots. It is Lake's unfounded accusations resulted in death threats to the Republican election official. Rather than attempting to justify with evidence her claims made against this election official, Lake agreed to have a default judgment on liability entered against her. No one would admit liability for defamation unless there was no hope of winning the case. In other words, she did not have any admissible evidence to support any of her claims. Nonetheless, she claimed in true Trumpster fashion that the defamation lawsuit brought by the Republican official was a, quote, political witch hunt, end quote, and the lawsuit was frivolous, notwithstanding her consent to a default judgment being entered against her on the liability issue. Lake further claims that the defamation suit brought by the Republican official is part of an election interference effort made by the Democrats, who, quote, know they can't beat either of us fair and square, so they hit us with lawsuits to keep us tied up and off the campaign trail, end quote, and to, quote, try to stop me and bleed me dry, end quote. In a video posted to X, Lake insisted that, quote, by participating in this lawsuit, it would only serve to legitimize this perversion of our legal system, end quote. This is what an alternative reality, an Orwellian universe sounds like. We know now without any doubt that tens of millions in the United States can be persuaded with this kind of inane nonsense. Trump and Lake embody what it means to be a Republican today. Republicans and their media outlets have a $1 billion plus defamation problem, which is not going away anytime soon.